before they ran out there. You got the pitch man on this side. You got the pitch man on that side. This should have been made very clear who has the pitch man now.
I believe the Red Raiders have 2 timeouts left. They called one earlier in this half. So Blee brings him back to the line of scrimmage. Blee's going to keep it, going to pitch it to the fullback. And he is hit hard by the Crest defender. That is Derek Mitchell coming in and just laying the lumber to Chance Ford.
Hey, my kicker's bigger than yours.
So big hit there by Derek Mitchell. That'll make it 2nd and 8 here for the Red Raiders. Clock continues to run.
Blee can throw it to Randy. You got to be aware. You've seen him.
He'll bring that offense back to the line of scrimmage. Does Blee going to send 2 receivers
safeties back. Leave that safety
over
back
to the left side. And we got movement by the Red Raiders. That'll back them up 5. That's one thing that's kind of been their bugaboo this year. The turnover and those penalties, and we've not seen it. And it reared its ugly head right there for the Red Raiders.
Didn't even mark it right. It's back to the 8. Yeah, the ball was at 13.
Start the clock.
So it'll be moved back to the 8.
So they'll get ready. 2nd and 13 now here for the South Point offense. 54-49. Crest leads down to 3 minutes, 10 seconds here in the 4th quarter. South Point no hurry right now to get the snap off. There it is. And Blee's going to be swarmed under by that Crest defense. He thought somebody was going to be there, Will, I think, to give the football to, and nobody was there.
Big gain, and now it's 3rd and long.
That did look a little busted on that play. Just a little bit busted on that play.
So that's going to make it 3rd and long. This has been where
safety back.
Crest has struggled with the pitch man.
Drop your safety back, nothing deep. Don't get beat deep.
And let's see what the Red Raiders do here. Blee down, puts a man in motion. He's looking to throw, looking downfield. The ball is...
No.
It's incomplete.
Ball is incomplete. He was out of bounds. So that's going to make it 4th down.
South Point is irate across the way, but it was not. The foot never got down, and it's 4th, and they're bringing the punt.
And they're going to have to bring the punt unit out.
I don't trust them.
Wow.
Don't trust them. Don't try to
They're
field
taking
the
Green
ball.
right back off the field because the Chargers are wondering here if there's something.
Yeah, I wouldn't. You will see Green come off. They're not going to put anybody deep for the Chargers regardless of what happens here. You just want to get that football back.
This will be huge, but what
You
is
got to be smart here. No silly penalties, anything like that. Late getting guys on are the Red Raiders. They send 2. They got to get another one back off.
Pay attention.
And it looked like the clock was 0.
And let's see what we've got.
We're giving them another second, but they finally
we got to delay a game against the Red Raiders. And right now, just really struggling. Chip, the Red Raiders just look confused right now on the field.
It's looking bad for him right now. A little bit not what they usually.
Yeah, Robbie, you are seeing the discipline of the Crest Chargers really paying off here at a very pivotal point in the game. You had the penalty on the kickoff return. You had the penalty, you had the false start in the midst of that drive. You had the busted play in the midst of that drive. Then you had the delay of game penalty right there. So really starting to see South Point unraveling that attempted drive. Crest taking over, showing good discipline here at clutch time of this ball game.
So the Chargers will take the football over here. 2:07 to go, 54-49. The Chargers lead. What a big stop there by the Crest defense to get their offense back on the field.
Where's 14?
2 receivers left, 2 to the right, single back in the backfield. South Point does still hold 2 timeouts. Husky takes the snap.
That's Tate.
Yeah, gives it to Tate. Drives ahead.
14 since that last hit he took.
Bring up 2nd down to 6.
after he scored down here.
Yeah, looking at, don't see anybody being worked on down there.
Worked on, but I don't see him. Okay, I see him now. Okay. But I haven't seen him back that last hit.
1:40 to go here in the fourth quarter. Double receivers left and right. Single back in the backfield's Tate with Husky.
Husky awaits the snap. He's waiting.
Husky letting that clock run down as low as he can let it go. Takes the snap now. He's going to keep it himself. Runs to the left side. Now Tavius Husky's making moves in the field. He's going to get knocked out of bounds. Gets the first down. What a run by the senior quarterback, Tavius Husky.
It's got to be.
What about his passes and what about his list? He can do it all.
Listen, this kid's got more pours than he's got credit for.
And I tell you what, Jeff Jones, he's called him Mr. Excitement since we started covering him last year. And this young man just does a good job taking care of the football, doing what he needs to do
somebody's
offensively.
Getting a quality football player next year.
Absolutely. So Husky, I believe, was knocked out of bounds there on that one. So that stops the clock. It's Husky with Tate in the backfield. Husky takes the snap. He's going to keep it again himself. He's running to the left side. Going to be pushed out of bounds again.
I wish he'd just get down right there.
So Husky takes it down. Looks like about the 5, close to it. So first and goal here for the Chargers. What a end to this game. They needed to stop defensively. They were able to get it.
Go back to what I said earlier. They needed 2 stops, but then they got down. So they needed 3 stops to win. They got the stop they needed to win.
Husky takes the snap. Husky's going to keep it again, and he's just going to get down.
Smart play. Smart play.
Let the clock run.
South Point does call a timeout.
So the Red Raiders, yes, will take a timeout. We'll keep it here. Let's go. Looking to see if Chip was still down. Yeah, Chip's still down there. Chip, I tell you what, you talk about a team that was down 35-14 to start this game. What a way to end it right now with that 54-49 lead, and they've drove it all the way down here to the South Point 5-yard line.
Absolutely, Rob. What a big drive.
Crest trying to stay unbeaten in the Big South, trying to stay unbeaten overall this season.
Yeah, Robbie, I go back and I thought about this at halftime. I looked at this Crest Chargers team in the midst of when they were down 35-14. Obviously, they were not happy, but I did not see any panic in these young men.
Absolutely.
They were focused, they were disciplined, they were listening to their coaches, trying to adjust. What can we do to adjust this? What can we do to fix this situation? There was no panic in them. They knew they had a lot of time, and they trusted each other. They trusted their talent and their ability, and it's paid off.
Big time.
So Husky brings his offense back out there in the shotgun. Tate with him in the backfield. Double receivers left and right. This time he's going to give it to Tate. Tate plunges into the middle of the line.
Didn't get much.
Yeah, back to the line of scrimmage. Red Raiders will
in the middle of the field there. I think that's more of a Carson job.
They will call timeout, do the Red Raiders.
But I still haven't seen him since he took that hit.
Yeah, since he took the hit down there. So
Put this one away.
So I'm wondering if they saying, okay, that's enough.
And the other thing you think about right now,
You come over here for a little.
yeah.
It's a long season from here on out.
So this, 57 seconds left. This is third down play here. I mean, if you're the Chargers, I think you're in 2-down territory. I don't know, do you try to line up and kick the field goal or if something could happen? Do you go for it 2 more times and punch it into the end zone?
I don't think they can drive the field. I don't think they can drive the field on you. You might get some big runs out of them, but I don't think they can drive the field on you. So, yeah, I think you're 4 down here, score, but not for sure that they don't let you score here.
We know that there's no timeouts left now for the Red Raiders, so they're going to want to.
Oh, they got to get a stop here.
So Husky ready in the shotgun. He's going to take the snap. He's going to give it to Tate. Tate's going to get around the left side, and he goes in for the touchdown. Tate goes in to make the score 60-49. The Chargers lead. What a way to finish that drive, finish off the game. Once again, we see a classic between these two schools. For the 5th time, we've seen great football games between these two teams. The Red Raiders tasted defeat last week to the Huskies, but you knew they were going to come out fired up, ready to play.
Very rarely do you see them lose two back-to-back games.
Greer's in to attempt the extra point. Crest, remember that 1-point loss from the playoffs last year. Kick is up, and the kick is good on the Novalarkey Mr. Sparky scoreboard. It's now Crest leads 61-49. You've been listening. This is high school football, WestEndSales.com broadcast right here on WOHS.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast live in the studios here at KTCBroadcasting.com. We've got the post-game show up to tonight. Let's see. Did I get any of those mashed right? I know you guys can hear me because I see it hitting. I can't hear myself. So either way, I'll figure that out in just a few moments. Welcome to the post-game show brought to you by CSI Mechanical of Shelby. Let's see. I got something. My stomach's vibrating. People sending me scores. Yeah, I knew that score a long time ago. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm going to put some scores up for you. Black scores are finals. Black scores are my finals. I promise we'll get them up. We'll get them up as quick as we can. We're checking out around the area. It takes a little bit to get everybody in. And then, of course, we all got weird kinds of buttons and everything to push as well. I wonder why I can't hear myself. Let's see. Check. Oh, there we go. Turn your headphones on there, Kevin. We got some final scores across the board. 42-7, Burns beats Bessemer City. Kings Mountain 49-7 over Forest View. Shelby 72-0 over Highland Tech. Bunker Hill 21-15 over West Lincoln. East Gaston 56-3 over Thomas Jefferson. Pisgah 35-0 over Franklin. Fort Bush 33-20 over Elkin. Roberson 58-13 over Inca. And McDowell 38-36 over North Buncombe. Other local scores, though, final. Ashbrook 21-13 over North Gaston. Like I said, all the red scores, doesn't mean they're not over, doesn't mean they're not final. It means I don't have it, and I haven't got it yet. I've got my list of stuff, or I even haven't put it in. I've got a whole list of scores I actually haven't put in yet. So, well, while we're waiting on that, and we're going to talk to some of the guys here in the postgame show when they join us on the radio here in a few minutes, we're just waiting on the Crest South Point postgame to get over. I guess Will won't be here about 11 o'clock tonight, maybe. Looking at our top 10 from earlier in the day, let's go across that and check out how everybody's doing so far. So here was our top 15 coming into the show tonight. I got to fix the scoreboard there. I forgot about that. CSI Mechanical Scoreboard. I want to thank you guys for sponsoring the post-game show here on KTC Broadcasting. There we go. How about I fix that for you? There you go, guys. Go. All right, so coming in tonight, that was our top 15 in our PowerPoints standings. Hickory's going to win tonight, so they'll stay at number 1 at 18 PowerPoints. Kings Mountain picks up 3 PowerPoints with win tonight. Crest picks up 3 PowerPoints, so those two will still be at 17 total PowerPoints going into next week. So 1, 2, 3 will stay the same going into next week. East Gaston tonight wins, so they're going to jump up to 12 PowerPoints. West Iredale is in a battle with East Lincoln right now, folks, and that game with a minute left to go was 17-17, and someone scored, but the guy that was reporting wrote West Iredale and East Iredale as both the score, so I don't know who won. And final. East Lincoln wins, pulls out the victory, losing the whole game, come from behind, skin of their teeth, 24-17 over West Iredale. We might get a report from someone somewhere and kind of let us know exactly what happened in that game as the Mustangs pull out a victory, much-needed victory, knocking off the previously undefeated West Iredale Warriors there at number 5. So they get knocked off. So they're going to lose a point and drop down to 10 total points at 5-1 on the season for West Iredale. So they lose some points. Then we had a battle of undefeateds tonight up in Bunker Hill. The Bears and the Rebels tonight. And the Bears come out on top 21-15. So Bunker Hill will end up with 13 PowerPoints after this week. West Lincoln will fall with 9 PowerPoints. Bandy's loses at Lincoln in a barn burner on the scoreboard tonight. Let's see. They had a total, last time I checked, was 57-36. I'm waiting on JP to get a final from that. I actually have that a minute ago. Let me pull that up so I can give you guys the final on that. Bandy's, JP's about to end that. I'll let him come down the hall. Bandy's lost, I'll put it that way. So they're at 6 points. And Lincoln picks up the victory, and they're going to improve to -1. So that's their second win of the season for the Wolves. Brevard, I don't believe. JP, what was that final? 57-36. Okay. We're going to hold him to that it was 57-36. But we'll see if that. Well, that's the last one I had, so it hadn't changed. So good for JP. So I'm gonna say he's right on that one. So write down your score there, folks. Lincoln wins 57-36 over Bandy. So far tonight we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 of our top 10 teams go down tonight. So 4 of our top 10 teams go down. The top 4 win. Number 6 wins, and number 9, Brevard, did not play tonight. Bulldogs win tonight in Bessemer City. They'll improve to 7 PowerPoints. East Lincoln wins tonight on the road in a late game victory over at West Iredale. So they'll move back up with 9 points. And let's see. The Maiden Blue Devils tonight, we got 0-0, but I'm pretty sure they're going to kill West Caldwell, and we haven't seen anything on it. So we're going to go ahead and give them their 2 points that they're going to earn for victory tonight. Community School of Davidson was losing, so they might not get any points. They might drop in the poll. Statesville was 8-8 with a 4. That ain't good. South Point loses at Crest, so they're going to lose some points. Shelby won tonight at Highland Tech. They're going to gain a point. So you folks wonder what I'm talking about here in the last bottom few points here. North Gaston tonight falls at Ashbrook, so they're going to end up with 1 point. Ashbrook, that's a big win for them. They're going to get up to 0 now in the power poll. Chase, Trojans are 3-2, and they were up tonight by 20 at Hendersonville. So we're going to go with that right now, that they're going to keep that one. What's up, Steve? Degrees in his house. And we're going to talk to him in just a minute. Steve's already went to probably Hooters and watched a movie by now since the end of his game. Yeah, they were done when we had teams that we weren't even at halftime in some of our games. And Steve can give us a little bit about that in just a second.
I take it there was a running clock, Steve.
Oh, you did start at 7. I was wondering about that. Somebody asked. I'm like, for them to be that far along, they might have. Huss wins tonight over Stuart Kramer. They were up big on them earlier. Let's see. I had a Stuart Kramer. Shannon was talking about sitting over on Kramer's side, and one of them just told them that they were just pitiful this year. And so that was from that's not from a KTC opinion. That's a parental opinion on that one. So anyway, let me show you guys some of the scores on the. What's up? Oh, all right. So let's see. Steve is here, and I'll let Steve kind of go ahead and a little bit and give us a synopsis before we get going too hard here on the radio. What exactly happened tonight with you guys over at Highland tonight, Steve?
Well, first of all, I guess our score was 72-0. It was 48-0 first quarter. 50. It was 64-0 halftime. What happened was we started the game at 7, and when we was kicking warm ups, we kicked the ball over in at the south end goal, and the ball went in the woods. We never found the ball. so as a Wellbanks decided to go for 2 every time. So because the other end of the end zone, where there was a building there.
Right, you kick on top of it, don't you?
We kick on top of it. So every time we scored, we went for 2. Don't think the kicker's daddy was too happy about that. But that's what it was. But
well, you know what he could have done? He could have volunteered to go catch the balls.
Right.
if you want to climb on the building or climb in the trees, I guess you can go get it.
It's just
how you gonna be selfish on a 72-0 win?
Right. It just said that their kids play on the field like that, but.
I thought y'all were going to play at Huss tonight. Is whatever we were called and told that it was at Huss earlier.
A couple of years ago, the first time we played, we did play at Huss.
Yeah,
but tonight it was at.
We were actually telling people that we were being told it was Huss earlier.
No, it was actually at Highland Tech's field.
Okay.
And like the kids play hard. They got some good, decent athletes, but like you said, we was talking the same scenario with Thomas Jefferson and Cherville. When you bring 2 or 3 busloads and you can bring theirs in a station wagon, it's not a fair game.
Well, I was kind of talking, Zach and I were earlier, he was at the Bessemer Burns game, and he was like, Bessemer kids got some good athletes, and they're doing pretty good against Burns. And my thought was, and I was trying to explain to him, was like, going to, like, playing against you guys, I always felt like, our quarterback, our running back, maybe our one wide receiver, just as good as yours. And if we switch sides, the scores would be exactly the same. And because of that line play. And I was all like, yeah, I'd like to see the Shelby quarterback play with my line. Let me switch with him for a couple times or 2.
He wouldn't have been all conference.
But a lot of the folks, right? But a lot of the folks that on the smaller schools don't get here. I can turn here. You guys, is that better?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
A lot of these kids in these smaller schools, we'll talk about. Well, they got beat 72-0, and then like you'll come in here and Zach will come in and like. Their quarterback threw the ball well. Their running back run the back well. But if football is the game of the line, whether you want to admit it or not, or whatever. And then we even talking on Saturdays, the 4- and 5-star recruits. Alabama has 74 on their roster.
Wow.
74. You know how many Carolina has? 30. So that tells you the difference when you walk on the field right there. Like, hey, our quarterback might be better than yours, but you've got 40 linemen that are ranked better than my linemen, and that depth in the line and the defense, and it goes back. You go defensive, offensive line, then one level you got linebackers and tight ends, and the size does tend to matter. But Steve, a little bit, who did well for you guys tonight, and show a little shine on those golden lines.
Well, I want to first give a shout out to our quarterback, Lane Farmer, who's a sophomore. I think Lane maybe had 5 or 6 touchdowns tonight, because people don't understand. Lane is a sophomore, but he really didn't get to play much last year because he tore his rotator cuff in preseason. So he didn't give any JV experience until at the end. So for Lane to come as far as he is, I think he got maybe 24, 25 touchdowns already on the year. Okay, so Kristen Tate, Number 21, I think he scored maybe 3 touchdowns. Eli Falls, number 9, he probably caught a couple touchdowns. Of course, Isaiah always do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And played Isaiah a little bit in the Wildcat. And let him throw it one time to give Burns something. Give Burns something to look at.
Did he connect on it?
He did.
Okay.
For an extra point, throw it to Eli Falls. And our defense did a great job. They only had 1 first down the whole half, and that was on the penalty. Second half, we never played our first team defense. And then Highland Tech kept the ball the whole third quarter with the running clock and got down to about the 5, but maybe I say the 15. And our defensive lineman, Justin Ross, picked the ball up and ran it back 85 yards for a touchdown. That's what gave us our 72 points. And then they got the ball back. I don't think we ever run offensive play the whole second half. they had the ball the whole second half.
You didn't need it, Steve.
So, it's just not fair. That's all I got to say. And as a coach, you want to win, but you still want to be competitive too.
Right. There's 100 other teams you guys can play tonight.
Right.
And the state makes you do this.
And when you have to get your teams motivated to compete against yourself in a game, just to try to outdo your teammate, there's something wrong. And when your opposer team strategy was snap the ball with 1 second on the clock, on the play clock, they was in trouble. So that's what they did. They tried to slow the game down. But anyway, we took care of business. Now we got a bye week next week. And once after the bye week, we'll be looking. We try to be in playoff mode because the next 3 games will determine our season in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's sad about as far as having to play those games and that competition like that is the people that make those decisions never have to get the ramifications of it. Like, they don't have to go out there and hit anybody. They don't have to go out there and waste practices for both teams. They don't have to go out there and maybe people get injured that shouldn't. And the only thing they cared about is that the guys send their check at the end of the year. So hopefully the state won't take away their power now, Dennis, or whatever it is. And that's what. And those are the people that are making decisions. Not not one of those. Q Tucker has never gotten hit by a Shelby linebacker.
Nope.
I'm just going to say that.
But she measured the bus routes.
I'll say that right there.
How far is it from Bessemer City to Shelby versus how far it is from Shelby to South Point? And she said, "Oh, wait a minute, we can save a bunch of money for the schools." Well, when they bring 6 people to your home game, it's not good for the finances, and the athletic director's got to wonder, how am I going to make up for this deficit we're running?
And some of the fans left. Some of the fans left at halftime anyway.
Yeah.
I think some of them left to come back to go to go over to the Crest game. I was.
Well, you had plenty of time.
Yeah.
I was already back in Shelby. At halftime, I was already back in Shelby.
While they were on halftime? Okay, I was curious about that.
Before they even started the third quarter. I could have went over there, but I decided not to. Just trying to keep my mind focused on. I just don't think it's fair for us to keep playing. It's not going to really help us in either. I mean, except for getting some reps for your subs, but when you got to run the clock, it's still not getting any
They
reps.
hardly get any.
When you can just stand there and don't even have to snap the ball.
Yeah.
They're not going to call. Well, they called the leg game one time. It was too obvious. I guess thinking maybe a minute to ran off for the ran the clock. So.
Well, I was just thinking about you talking about the Crest game. In that game tonight between South Point and Crest, Kevin, they scored 110 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real defensive showing.
And that's not good when you get in the playoffs because you'll run up against a Charlotte Catholic.
I started to say, Steve and I were talking earlier.
Yes.
That won't cut it come playoff time. I don't care if you're South Point or if you're Crest.
Right.
That won't do it.
Because you'll get up a team against a Charlotte Catholic like that who not also can run the ball, but they play pretty decent defense.
Yep.
And if they can get ahead of you, way ahead of you, you're gonna be in trouble. But you got to get hats off. The Crest was 35-14.
Yeah.
At one point in the game, and they turned it on.
But their attitude, Steve, is we'll outscore you. You can't win a state championship with a one-trick pony.
So Steve, who you guys got next?
we got Bessemer City after the bye.
Okay, so you do have a bye. We were talking about that earlier. Couldn't remember if you guys had your bye week here or not. So
No.
you have next week is your bye,
Right.
and then you got Bessemer City at home or away?
At home.
At home,
Probably be homecoming.
And then one more game after that. Is that the Burns game? We got 2 more games. East Gaston.
Go to East Gaston.
Gotcha.
Then we have Burns at home.
So
for all the marbles.
So good news and bad news is the good news is that the easiest, I guess, quote, part of the schedule is behind you. Bessemer give you a little fight, probably next week a little bit, give you a little run for your money at least. But I expect you guys to win that. And then you get, like you said, it's seeding time, and the top 3 teams are going to the playoffs, and there's only 3 teams there. So you guys, East Gaston and Bessemer City. East Gaston tonight improved to 6-0 on the season now. After winning tonight against Thomas Jefferson. So going into a bye week, how you guys handle that? Do you get a day off, or you going to go watch somebody else, or what's the plans for Shelby this week?
Well, I think Coach Wilbank's going to bring him in Monday, let him watch the film from his last game, and start working on different stuff for the playoffs, working for different stuff for after the bye. Probably give him maybe Thursday and Friday off. Let them rest up, and then after the bye, come back in full throttle ahead. Don't really know what their plans are for Friday, but my plans is I'm either gonna go to East Rutherford and Hendersonville to support Carlos, or either I'm gonna go to the Bessemer City East Gaston game. So I'm gonna do one of the 2 games, but right now I'm sort of leaning on going to support Carlos.
So you're going to pass up the charitable Highland Tech game?
Yes, I'm gonna pass that up.
Okay.
Yes.
No comments necessary then.
Because I hadn't seen Bessemer play, and I like to see Trent Sherrill down at East Gaston, what they got going on down there. First time ever, I think it's the first time in school history they've ever been 6-0.
Well, I was going to suggest East Gaston to you, Steve, because between you and Burns and East Gaston, somebody's going to finish 3rd. And your job is to make sure it's not you.
That's right. That's our job. And also, I don't like to look ahead, but I can't think about the 42-0 whooping we got from Burns. We're still on the bus. We hadn't got off the bus yet. So maybe in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we can finally get off the bus.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get synced up with the radios and everybody. You're listening to the postgame show brought to you by CSI Mechanical. Kevin Hastings in here tonight. I've got Steve DeGree talking Shelby football. We've got Dennis in the house. Will is going to make his way up here. We got a cold cheeseburger waiting on him at some point. And he's going to have some dinner and talk to us about that wild game up there. We'll be back in just a few moments here on KTCBroadcasting.com.
All right, with us today, we've got Stephen Churka from CSI Mechanical in Shelby.
Thank you, Calvin. Give us a call today to take advantage of our fall train promotions from now on going through November the 15th. Qualify up to $1,200 in rebates. Call us today to schedule your free estimate. 704-600-6267. Also, you can come by our locations for your Crest 50/50 raffle tickets. That's 410 South Post Road in Shelby, North Carolina.
It's hard to stop a train.
Today, having choices at the end of life's journey is more important than ever. Choosing the proper way to honor a loved one is not an easy task. There are many emotional, personal, and spiritual issues to consider. Now, there is a new alternative to traditional burial and flame-based cremation. Foothills Aquamation is a water-based natural process that gently returns your loved one's remains to their natural ash form. Learn more at StanleyTysingerFuneralHome.com or drop by their offices in Falston and in Cherryville.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. The electrical panel is the heart of your home's electrical system. Malfunctions can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk or in the dark altogether. Fixing it quickly will help keep you and your family safe. So trust our team of electrical experts at Mr. Sparky to get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
When you cast a vote for Kevin Gordon for Cleveland County Commissioner, you are voting for a dedicated and experienced leader with a proven history of providing strategic direction, operational management, best practices, and service excellence. He is a strong advocate for all public safety agencies. He is proficient in maximizing efficiency of county operations and resources. He's a champion of economic development and creation of jobs with almost 40 years of public service. On March 5th, 2024, cast your vote for Kevin Gordon for Cleveland County Commissioner. This announcement paid for by the committee to elect Kevin Gordon, Cleveland County Commissioner. Don't be afraid. It's only Dr. Beast, the Dr. Beast duct cleaning machine from Shelby Heating and Air. He's a friendly beast. He will clean and disinfect your duct system. Just give Shelby Heating and Air a call at 704-487-7877 and have them bring Dr. Beast to your home or business to clean and disinfect your duct system. See Shelby Heating and Air online at shelbyheating.com. Like them on Facebook too. They are there when you need them.
Since 1986, Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby has been serving families across Shelby and Cleveland County. And today, Wayne Witherspoon continues the tradition of bringing you the best insurance at the best possible price. With names like The Hartford, Safeco, Progressive, National General, and Travelers. Drop by the office today at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby and talk with one of their friendly hometown agents. Witherspoon Insurance Agency, your independent insurance agency since 1986.
Bayada Home Health Care continues to grow, and because of this growth, they are in need of new employees. See Bayada Home Health Care and join their growing team of healthcare professionals with immediate opportunities in Gaston, Lincoln, and Cleveland counties. And they take all safety precautions possible with an experienced, trained staff. Just call 704-669-4000 or visit the website at bayada.com. Bayada Home Health Care. They love what they do.
And we're back on the CSI Mechanical of Shelby post-game show with the Ministry of KTC Broadcastings. We have in the house Dennis Davis, the Reverend. We have Will Boykins, the No, we don't yet. We don't have. He's on his way here. He's not here yet. Steve DeGree, the usher, the youth minister Kevin Hastings, and as always, music minister JP, here in the studio, making these men sound good every single Friday night, Saturday mornings.
Oh, there you go.
Are you the usher or the ursher?
Usher.
Usher. JP, I know you're not cool enough to know what ursher is.
Not really, no.
Sorry, Steve. I'm trying to get that to where he gets up to get your voice there when we get going. All right, final scores across the area. I've got some, don't have almost all of them, but we're trying to get them across the board here as we go. We got Burns 42-7 over Bessemer City, Crest 61-49 over South Point, Kings Mountain 49-7 over Forest View, Lincoln and 57-36 over Bandy's, Shelby 7-2-0 over Highland Tech, Bunker Hill 21-15 over West Lincoln, East Gaston 56-3 over Jefferson. East Lincoln wins 24-17 over West Iredale. North Lincoln wins 53-14 over North Iredale. Ford 15-38. Let's see. 14. What did I say? Ford 38-15 Statesville. Ashbrook 21-13 North Gaston. Roberson 58-13. 33-20 Forbush over Elkin. Pisgah 35-0 over Franklin. McDowell 38-36 over North Buncombe. And all those red scores, I don't have anything on those, or I don't have the finals yet, and I'm working on those folks. Go up and down.
Well, that East Rutherford score, I'm wondering if that's a final, Kevin.
Probably is at some point.
Hello?
We're going to talk to all of our announcers here, and at some point, David Potter's going to call us here in just a few minutes, but from the Lincoln Barn Burner up there. And then we're going to have, let's see. We'll talk to Brent Pasco from the Kings Mountain game. And in just a few moments. And then we're going to talk to Mr. Centofanti, who covered Bessemer City, and of course, and we'll talk a little Crest. That, and then maybe Jeff Miller, if he gives us a call. And I don't know. We haven't heard from him I don't know if we did last week.
Yeah, he did. He called in last week.
Good. Thanks for calling, Jeff.
The question, I think, for Jeff was, where was he going tonight?
Yeah. Who?
Jeff Miller's on the phone.
Okay. I'm glad it was. I don't know what just happened with JP just started squealing in there like a little piggy. And,
well, y'all just started talking about it, and then he called.
He's got
right,
ESP.
So we got Jeff on the phone, I believe, if JP did right.
Yes, sir.
Hey, where'd you go tonight, Jeff? You were debating last week where you were going to go.
I ended up going to the North Gaston and Ashbrook game, and that's because I did a poll, and the North Gaston and Ashbrook fans were louder than the Lincolnton Bandies fans and the Creston South Point fans.
There you go.
I mean, that's where most of our votes came, and that's where I went. Man, I'm hurt by you guys, man.
Hurt?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought Crest and South Point people were like, hey, man, come over here. But nah, it was a good game where I was at between Ashbrook and North Gaston. Ashbrook ended up winning 21-13.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty much slobber knocker game, who was going to come down to maybe had the ball last. And Ashbrook seemed to, get it together tonight and have a little more than they had in the past and was able to pull that one out.
Well, and it was also at times kind of a sloppy knocker, too.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of, there's been some fumbles and, fumbles and turnovers in that game. And both teams at times were knocking on the door and, couldn't punch it in. And it's been one of those games. The defense really told the tale in the second half. The only score that we saw in the second half was North Gaston's run by L.A. Knox to cut the lead to 21-13. PAT no good. But Ashbrook's Jameer Fox left the game after scoring the first touchdown with a minor injury. He told me that he should be back next week, but I'm sure they're going to be monitoring that.
Well, it wasn't a runaway, 21-13. Any late score could have tied that game up. So it was one of those kind of things that the fans got their money's worth watching the back and forth competition between those two teams.
And North Gaston just showed that they're not the North Gaston that we're used to seeing, where you can beat them by 30 points or 40 points. This North Gaston team this year is coming to play. Now, I don't know if they're going to do enough to make the postseason, but I think they're going to basically put the rest of the county on notice that you can schedule them for homecoming if you want to. Tonight was Ashbrook's homecoming game, but it's not going to be, runaway like it has been in the past. And Ashbrook had some players step in after Jameer Fox left the game, but I think the rhythm it was a little different without him in there.
Yeah. What kind of offense is North Gaston running this year?
They are running the bunched in double wing or wing T, what you call it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if they were still doing sort of like the South Point offense, because they seem to be having a lot more success with it this year and scoring more points and having closer games.
And I don't think it's quite the same as South Point's. I don't think South Point bunches their players in like that, but North Gaston also deviates from that at times. They go shotgun, on occasion, or pistol. And, I've seen that on some of their plays today, especially when they needed to get the passing game going. The passing game, I'd say, is still probably their weak point, but if they can – grind defenses down a little bit more, I think they can be successful going forward. They got a lot of young guys on the team, but their two big guys are seniors, but I see some players that could potentially step in for next year.
What about next week, Jeff? What's on your agenda for next week?
I'm thinking about going to the Force U alumni game. A lot of people from the class of 2002 and 2003 are going to be there to watch that. Of course, I'm class of 01, but
okay.
I don't necessarily think it'll be a close game. Hunter Huss has been playing some good ball lately, but who knows? Force U may shock shock some teams. And
Jeff, I got a question for you.
What's up?
You said your class of 2001, Forest View?
Yes.
Who was the really good linebacker there that went? I think he went to Penn State.
The one really good linebacker I can remember. I mean, of course, you had some very good linebackers that year.
Yeah, one of them let me up pretty good. I was trying to remember the name on that bus.
Booker?
I know he went to Penn State is what I was told.
Crosby went to Coastal Carolina.
Crosby's the name I remember. But I remember that. I thought they had a guy that was going somewhere big. Maybe he just didn't go to Penn State. One of them was going to Penn State. But I do remember the name Crosby.
And Mario Dye was the big running back.
So Mario,
you
I'll tell you quick on him. Do you remember that name? Do you remember him, Steve? Because you had to coach against him, didn't? Because we was in the same conference then, I believe, when Mario played. Because we played him. We played Forest View and y'all that same year. So I tell you, Mario was the fastest running back to the sideline I ever played against. First time they ran a sweep on us, Jeff, they went right, and I'm playing safety, Steve. That's my job, take the angle and keep him from going up the sideline. And I took the first angle, and I got there. He was 10 yards past me. I said, I got to take a different angle, boys. Y'all got to do something up front. Make him shake. But he was so fast. I do got to give him credit for it. He was probably the fastest person to the corner. The first time I was really good at that, and I got to that corner and he wasn't there, and I was like, oh my God.
Because a while back there, Jalen Moore too.
That was maybe a few years after, I believe. But yeah, I couldn't remember. I remember Crosby, and there was another kid. I just went when you said 2001. I want to check with you on some of those names there. I appreciate that, Jeff, for a little memory lane action there.
And Travis Royston too. He was like one of the most physical people on that field.
Okay. So this week, do you got a final on Hush yet? I still don't have anything on that. Last I had was 35-7.
Well, last time I heard something about 42-7.
Okay.
But going to give Ashbrook a congratulations for the win. Now they've won 2 games in a row.
That's a streak for them.
Yep. Congratulations, big time to the Ashbrook Green Wave. Well, Jeff, we appreciate you calling in. You gonna check out the Cleveland County Fair anytime while you're out and about this week?
I might after I get paid.
Well, come on out and have a good time. Come see us over here in Cleveland County if you can. And so what are your choices next week? You said you might go to the Ashbrook alumni game.
No, the Forest View game against Hunter Huss. That's Forest View's homecoming too.
Got you. Well, I appreciate you calling in as always, Jeff. You got anything else you want to promote? Talk about yourself real quick before you go.
CarolinaVarsity.com. I post highlights there, and some photographs as well. And Alan and I do our post game commentary probably after you guys close up shop at your station.
Oh goodness, up late, huh?
Yeah. Well, speaking of your website, how's Anthony Perkins doing these days? Is he still with you?
I think he is. Haven't had much contact with him because he covers South Point games, and I haven't been to a South Point game yet this year.
Well, that's why I was wondering what his take on tonight's game with Crest was.
Jeff, we got another call. We'll talk to you later, buddy. Jeff, thanks for calling.
Thanks.
Dennis, you got 35 minutes before you get to talk about Crest. I got 4 callers to talk to. So hold you. Just no.
Anthony covers.
No.
Yeah, okay.
You asked Steve about Crest and the Highland Tech Shelby game. Now you're asking somebody else about Crest and an Ashbrook game. You boys got something. Y'all can, yeah. Well, I tell you what. Next week we're going to bring out the. Y'all remember the Dennis? Not Dennis the Menace. Pee Wee Herman. And then say the magic word, and everybody goes ah. Next week, Crest is the magic word, and every time Dennis says it, JP's going to hit a button.
Hey, you better tell Will ahead of time.
All right, we got David Potter on the line.
David Potter should be on the line right now.
Oh, well, yeah, let's hear about that Lincoln and Wolves game tonight. That was exciting.
So that was, yeah.
Wolves win 57-36, 93 points on the scoreboard. And I think, David, they just got finished just a minute ago. But I think he's home and safe. And David, you there?
Yes, I am. I'm exhausted.
You didn't run the ball once tonight, David.
I'm talked out, man.
So who's got the worst voice right now? Are you or one of the coaches for Bandy's or Lincoln right now? All that yelling tonight with 100 points on the board.
Oh, I don't know. I imagine to be the Bandy's coaches. I don't think they really enjoyed giving up 618 yards of offense.
Well, we've got the highlights here, and I'm gonna pull them up while we talk about this game, David. And you know, we're sitting there watching the scores and stuff go through, and my poor girl up in the stands, and I'm sitting there thinking, you know, this may be the most she's ever tweeted in a night. I want to give a shout out to our Twitter Twitter reporter in the stands at Lincoln tonight. Jock Anderson was taking care of us, and so I want to thank her for that. So all right, David. After that, I'll let you kind of handle it about how it went. It looks like did Bandy start off early? No, Bandy started off early with the score.
Yeah, Bandy's got a couple scores pretty quick. Got out to an early lead, but then Lincolnton does what Lincolnton's done all year. They may start slow, but they really came back with a vengeance after that. Andre Bloss kept them in the game. Maybe Andre and the Lincolnton team can give the Ryder Cup team some pointers on how to do comebacks, because God knows they need one over there in Rome.
Yeah, you might not want to watch any more golf this weekend.
Yeah, if Chip comes in tonight, he will hear all about the Ryder Cup team.
Not doing too well. Well, 7-0, Bandy's took off. This throw from the quarterback, David, he had a pretty good arm on him, didn't he, for Bandy's?
Yeah, they got another sophomore quarterback. They had Weston, that was the quarterback last year. This year they've got Brady Sweat, and he threw for 207 yards. Problem was they had 3 interceptions. And that's just because they had to keep throwing all the time. They tried to run it some, and Lincolnton was doing the bend, not break sort of thing, but was running too much clock. So when they had to throw, as Scott pointed out on the broadcast, it's nice having a coach in the booth with me this year. Lincolnton made a nice adjustment, rolling the safeties over the top to the side that he was throwing to, and it took away a lot of the plays that they were doing with Cash Obregon early in the game. If you haven't seen this kid play, he was averaging 140 yards in reception per game.
Shoot. You need to turn up your mic.
He caught. I'm trying to do quick math here. He was over 100 early in the game in the first quarter. So he ended up with probably about 100, probably about his average, probably right around 140 yards. He just finds a way to get open, and Sweat really throws the ball nicely, gets it to him. And Sweat also had a really good game. He ran for 166 yards. Because Lincolnton was giving him room to run, they're just trying to keep everything in front of them once they got up 2-3 scores.
I'm watching Boss tonight, and I know you're going to tell us about how fantastic he was tonight. I mean, he ran all over the place. He threw all over the place. And I looked at the scores like halftime, and he's got 5 touchdowns himself. And I'm like, well, they got 57. I can't wait to hear what David says about how big of a night this kid had tonight.
23 carries, 292 yards, rushing.
Quarterback.
Well, he run. I mean, for a while we were joking. This looked more like a track meet because you get him out there, and he is so fast and elusive. We saw that against South Point. He kept him in that South Point game. And then tonight, you look like he's bottled up in the backfield. He did the same thing with South Point. He did the same thing tonight. He finds a way out, finds a crease. Next thing you know, he's down the field for 15, 20 yards. Or early in the game, a run for 47, a run for 76, another for 17, another for 37. I mean, it's just amazing the runs he can rip off. And it's just, he catches the ball, takes a step back, and it's just like a quarterback draw. And he just goes, finds a gap, and he's got great speed.
So we're looking at this second touchdown. We just watched the first one. On the second one, he was surrounded by 5 people at the 50-yard line. And then by the time he got to the 15, there was nobody near him. And he walked it in.
He just flies by people.
Yeah. Wow. Now he threw the ball too. It ain't just that he's fast. He was throwing the ball over the field, right?
Yeah, he threw for 132 yards. I mean, they only threw the ball about 12 times. There was 1 interception. 6 for 12, but that's averaging 22 a completion. And one of those was a 37-yard completion late in the half on, it was either third or fourth and 36.
Yeah, we're watching the touchdown, the first throw into the corner right here. And what a wonderful throw here. And then now we're watching we went up 28 to 21 on the keeper up the middle. And I don't know. It's hard to let the quarterback run right down the middle of the field, but he's pretty fast. And what a fake. And they all bid on it, too.
We've seen enough of that tonight. Turn that off.
Let's see. Let's go to another score. Now, Bandy's took the lead 29-28. They go with the sweep left here. So it's not like Lincoln just kind of blew them out. It was a close game for the most part there till late, right, Dave?
Well, then they made some good adjustments defensively, and it really shut down the passing game. And Bandy's really didn't, other than Sweat running the ball, they really didn't do much. Spicer, 13 yards. Tanner, Stewart, let's see, he's got about 30. And then Ian Moore, another 30 yards. So they just didn't have a real good running game that they could get going at any point other than Sweat just keeping the ball. And sometimes he was looking to throw and there wasn't anything and he just would take off.
So how many total touchdowns did Boss responsible for? I'm counting 6 right now, 7?
6 or 7. I mean,
I know he's thrown 3. How many did he run? So.
Yeah, so that's one of those nights. I mean, when he had 254 yards rushing at halftime, we started thinking, if he keeps going, he's got a shot at Mason Avery's county record set last year. I think it was 397. So, but they went more with Kamani Heath in the second half and just kept pounding him in there. Probably to keep some wear and tear off Boss, one thing, and the other is just keep the clock moving.
Well, I'm looking at his 4th touchdown throw right now. So did he have 8? I know he got 7 touchdowns because he ran 3. So he's either at 7 or 8.
I'm looking through my notes here. Pass. No, there was a touchdown run by Walker.
Okay.
So that means the most he could have is 7.
So he had 7 of the 8 touchdowns. Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Poor guy. Just an awful night. Didn't do much to help his team. Terrible. What are you going to do?
I think he had more touchdowns tonight than I had in my career, Will.
Okay.
All right, David. Well, next week on the schedule, we've got we had 4 to East, but have we decided if we're going to go up to Newton on that one yet? I don't want to put you on the spot.
I don't know. I go where you send me.
All right. So next week we may have West Lincoln at Newton Conover. I'll just put that little birdie out there for the folks listening in the area. So we'll think about that one and we'll talk about that. Dave, I want you guys to have a great weekend. Enjoy the Ryder Cup. They start playing right now, don't they? They're playing right now. They should be.
1:30 they start.
1:30. So you got to take a quick nap and wake back up and check it out.
I will not be awake for that. And I don't think the team is awake for it either.
Call Chip. He'll be awake and watching.
Yeah, Chip will help you out. He'll talk to you about it. All right, David, have a good weekend, brother.
All right, you too.
All right, David Potter, KTC Broadcasting. We're going to talk to, hopefully, Brent Pasco up next here in just a few minutes. JP, do we got time for a quick break, or is Brent already on the phone? We got time quick break. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and get some more scores. KTCBroadcasting.com.
Hey, Bulldog fans, it's Jennifer here from Wright's Jewelry in Boston. We are your #1 shop for all of your jewelry and gift-giving needs. Our showcases are full of classic and fashion-forward designs. I do have to say they're pretty incredible as I pick them out myself. Don't forget to come see me for all of your custom designs and engagement ring needs. Visit us, 4911 Falston Road, Falston. Shop us 24/7 online and follow us on social media, Wright's Jewelry Store.
You know, for 41 years, S&M Sports Shop in Shelby has been serving our area with the finest in sporting goods. That's why they're known as the Athlete's Choice. And no one knew it better than our old friend, Dan Greer.
S&M is also your team outfitter for all local schools in whatever sport you play. They have letter jackets for all local high schools. Plus, S&M is your headquarters for Oakley Sunglasses. For all your athletic needs, go to S&M Sports Shop. They're located at 707 South Lafayette Street in Shelby.
Smiles are the specialty at Family Dentistry in Shelby. Dr. Stroud, Wilson, Thompson, and McMurray invite you in for all of your dental needs, from preventive care to cosmetic dentistry, from crowns and bridges to root canals and implants. For your appointment, call 704-482-3281 or visit the website at shelbydentist.net. Yes, smiles are the specialty at Family Dentistry in Shelby, located at 416 West Warren Street. Kids love them. Hey, and you will too. There's a lot to know about Kevin Gordon, candidate for Cleveland County Commissioner. Now, we can talk about all of his accomplishments, but not in this ad. We want to introduce you to Kevin Gordon. He's married to Sherry Gordon, and they have 2 sons, Alex and wife Macy, and Zachary and wife Anne Marie. Also 4 very special grandkids, and his Labrador named Ranger. Everything starts with family, and Kevin is proud to be a part of our Cleveland County family. On March 5th, 2024, vote for Kevin Gordon, Cleveland County Commissioner. This announcement was paid for by the committee to elect Kevin Gordon, Cleveland County Commissioner. Future Energy Company in Shelby is celebrating 40 years of giving you the fire that you desire. Yes, it's their 40th anniversary. Come on in now at Future Energy Company in Shelby and get ready for winter. Check out their line of wood stoves and gas logs. And get ready for the big game with a Big Green Egg or Green Mountain Pellet Grill, along with all of your favorite rubs and sauces. Get the fire you desire at Future Energy Company, 130 West Graham Street in Shelby, online at futureenergyco.com. Like them on Facebook too. There's excitement brewing at Classic Ford Lincoln in Shelby. There's some exciting new models that have arrived. Come see for yourself. Be sure to take a look at the new Ford Bronco Heritage. You're gonna love it. Come see the Shelby Cobra 500 GT Mustang and the all-new Mustang Dark Horse, plus many pre-owned vehicles priced at under $10,000. Yes, excitement is the word with these great new models at Classic Ford Lincoln, 1775 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, online at classicfordofshelby.com. All right, with us today, we've got Stephen Churka from CSI Mechanical in Shelby.
Thank you, Calvin. Give us a call today to take advantage of our fall train promotions from now going through November the 15th. Qualify up to $1,200 in rebates. Call us today to schedule your free estimate. 704-600-6267. Also, you can come by our locations for your Crest 50/50 raffle tickets. That's 410 South Post Road in Shelby, North Carolina.
It's hard to stop a train.
And we're back on the CSI Mechanical post-game show with the Ministry of KTC Broadcasting. We have most of the people here. We have our Reverend Dennis Davis. We have our Deacon Will Boykins. We have our Usher Steve DeGree, Youth Minister Kevin Hastings, and Music Minister J.P. Only person we don't have is the Bishop.
The Bishop. Well, here's what I want. The Music Minister. What? Nobody putting you in charge of the music. I'm just saying that.
Well, I didn't know what else to call myself. I mean, to be honest, I'm the only one that ever runs the sound around here.
He figured out who Usher
slow
was.
Jams. Speaking of slow jams,
I mean, I could say AV coordinator. I mean, I could do that.
Speaking of slow jams, I'm coaching yesterday baseball over at Shelby City Parks, and you know they got the football practices over on some of the other fields. Swear to goodness, one of the coaches drives by in a golf cart in some old school slow jams, ready for practice. I was like, "That's how you coach." I like the style. I loved it. He rolled up. It was I can't even remember what was playing. I wish I could say it, but
on the golf cart.
On the golf cart, rolled up to practice. You know who I'm talking about? Probably, yeah. Y'all's one of the Shelby folks. I've seen the guys on the sidelines and stuff.
Big
yeah.
Big Johnny Davenport.
Is that who it is?
That's exactly who it was.
Whoever he was chilling at that practice, and I was like, "That's it. Bring the tunes over here. We'll practice to it too."
The white golf cart.
I can't remember. Oh, no, it was blue. It was blue with a bunch of lights. It was pimped out golf cart. I mean, it was nice.
Shelby Middle School golf cart.
That's done. He's got the white one, and
he got more than one.
Yeah.
Sorry if I called you out on the radio. I'm just saying.
Funny.
I was sweet. I was like, that's so cool. As if you're gonna roll up to practice. So
So that's the only one I would think would be riding around. This is the old school.
I know that guy.
I know that guy.
But what was funny about it is one of my kids on my fall team. His dad is one of our sponsors, the contracted pyrotechnics up here at Burns that does the fireworks and stuff. So we were talking a few minutes. I was like, Dustin, KTC needs them a golf cart to ride around the slow jams and coaching and going to the games and stuff. We'll put some fireworks on the back of it. Come on. So I'm trying to work that, Will. Not got it yet, but we needed a golf cart with fireworks off the back of it. That'll get them going. Steve, we're going to talk. I guess we're talking to Jeff Jones now. JP?
Yep, he's on the.
All right, we got Jeff Jones on here.
Hey, guys. Brent and I did the game at Kings Mountain, and I tell you what, I love watching Kings Mountain play defense. They are really, really good on that side of the ball.
Tell Tom good morning.
Well, they only allowed 7 tonight, and I didn't know if it was Kings Mountain was that good or Forest View was that bad offense, Jeff. So fill us in. Tell us what you saw.
Well, Forest View definitely they've had some trouble scoring points, but it's just amazing to me how just completely sound Kings Mountain is on defense. I mean, they got a great front four. Their linebackers run to the ball, and their secondary is really quick to the ball, and they do a good job on coverage. And when you go back to pass, you got to get rid of it really fast because any of those 4 guys up front can just wreck a quarterback's night. And there were 13 offensive plays that lost yardage for Forest View tonight. And if it hadn't been for Aguilar, who made about 5 circus catches, there would be no way that Forest View would have come close to scoring. And they did score late in the third quarter, but there were a lot of reserves already in for Kings Mountain.
Sorry, Jeff. We were going over a score there real quick. So, in that conference, we've got down to Kings Mountain, of course, and Crest. And Crest not playing too much defense right now. How's Kings Mountain's defense looking so far right now as all the teams that you've seen lately?
Yeah, I've seen Kings Mountain twice now, and I've seen Crest a couple times. I've seen Shelby a couple times. I hadn't got to see Burns yet, but Kings Mountain's definitely got the best defense thus far. They've given up the most points they've given up this year, 17 to Shelby, and I think they've given up 13 and 14 and then 7 tonight. And, I thought this was a real trap game for Kings Mountain because they got to go to South Point next week. And, Forest View only scored 55 points all year. And, so Kings Mountain, this was a game that, they came out and you could kind of tell they weren't exactly sharp offensively. And it took them till the very end of the first quarter to score, and they led 7-0. But they were just. I also love to watch their offensive line block. Kings Mountain ran for over 300 yards. Kendrick had 3 touchdown runs, and Hill had 2 touchdown runs. And I think next week might be a really interesting game.
Yeah.
When Kings Mountain goes to South Point. I think we're covering that, I believe. But South Point is, does what they do, and they do it, better than anybody around here, the triple option. But then Kings Mountain's got a great defense, and Kings Mountain runs the ball really well. They haven't thrown it as well as they'd like to, I think, but I think that has a chance to be a really interesting ball game.
Well, Jeff, we've speculated at the first of the year that as the season went on, the Crest defense would get better, but the Kings Mountain offense would get better. Have you seen improvement in Kings Mountain's offense in the games that you've seen them?
Well, what I've seen about Kings Mountain is that their defense is so good, and to be real honest, their special teams are really good too. Their kicker Thompson, he hasn't missed a kick. I mean, he's like 100% on his extra points and 100% on his field goals, and they've got a kicker that's kicking their kickoffs now. A youngster that came up, and he's kicking it 57, 58 yards. He had a couple of touchbacks tonight. And, so they are, and they're punting. Thompson does their punting as well. And so what they've done is they're just locked down on their special teams, and their defense is fantastic. And their offense is basically, let's not make a mistake. and they're good, but I know they're going to want to throw the ball a little bit better. But the thing is, they hadn't had to. So I think that this week will be really interesting when they play South Point, because South Point's good at run defense. And, historically, South Point's had trouble with pass defense.
Yeah.
And so I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens when Kings Mountain and South Point play. And then when you get to that last game of the season, you've got the Crest offense, who is, a three-ring circus. Goodness gracious, they can score. They can score 30 points in a quarter against the Kings Mountain defense, who's given up, 50 points all year. It's going to be really interesting, the whole, unstoppable force versus the immovable object. So I think that's going to be an interesting ball game too.
Well, Jeff, what surprised me tonight, and I don't want to dwell on Crest in this, but South Point was able to come out. They took a methodical drive, as you would expect, 6 minutes to score the first points, and it was 7-0 South Point. Crest took about 30 seconds to tie it up. But then here comes South Point back. And South Point again, and South Point again. Next thing you know, it's 35-14 South Point. I haven't seen that kind of scoring punch out of them. So in regard to your point, next week will be the telling tale. Can they do that against Kings Mountain's vaunted defense? And
last year Rob and I did the Crest at South Point game.
Yeah.
And then Brent and I did the South Point at Kings Mountain game. And, South Point looked really, really good offensively against Crest. And then Kings Mountain just shut them down. I was surprised at how well how well Kings Mountain defensed South Point last year. So, we've seen that before, and it'll be interesting to see, what happens, because, South Point seemed to be down as far as their scoring numbers, going into this game. So I didn't know how much success they'd have against Crest, but obviously they had a lot of success. They scored 49 points against them. So I think this next week will be interesting.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for everything you guys and do and go on Friday nights and help out and broadcast the games and all of that. And we really appreciate you guys here at KTC. And I want to thank you guys.
We enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll do a game for you next week. And thanks a lot, guys.
Next week we do have on the schedule Kings Mountain at South Point on WOHS, so we'll let you guys know exactly who's going to be announcing and handling that going forward. I guess it'll be you and Brent next week if both of you guys are available.
All right. Well, we look forward to it. I really enjoy watching South Point because we ran a triple option for a number of years when I was coaching, so I love to watch that offense. So.
All right.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to do that next week. Well, take care, guys.
We're going to talk to Tom, Jeff, and thank you for everything. And we're going to talk some Bessemer City Burns right now, I believe.
All right.
Thank you, Jeff.
Take care.
Jeff Jones on the call tonight over at Kings Mountain. Do we got Tom on the phone there, JP?
Pretty sure.
Yep.
Yep. Tommy.
Pretty sure.
All right, Burns makes
Are you pretty or are you sure?
Trays over the trip to Bessemer City tonight. They trailed 7-0 and won 42-7. So Bulldogs take care of business like they're supposed to in the conference. Tom, I did put that that touchdown on for Bessemer on the video, and I'm going to show the guys here in a minute. They haven't seen it. I don't want you to say anything about it yet, but go ahead and talk about the Bulldogs. Go ahead and talk about the Bulldogs.
First of all, it was 7-6. It wasn't 7-0. And I'm not going to talk about that one because I'm just going to tell you I can't really speak. I feel pretty confident during a broadcast. I know most of the rules. Either I don't know the rule or they don't. I'm not really sure. I know what the rule is in college and professional, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's the high school rule, and it's something you don't see very often. So I'm going to let you show that. But I want to give a shout-out to Kamari Surratt, 3 touchdowns, 126 yards. Graham Warlick had a 34-yard touchdown grab. Jeremiah Norris had a short touchdown run as well. Mooney had a touchdown run. So it was by committee tonight, and the offense took a little bit. They had a nice opening drive and then kind of sputtered a little bit. And then once Bessemer got the touchdown, it was 3 straight drives with touchdowns. That's pretty much all she wrote.
He was out of bounds.
Yeah, I'm showing them the video now, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if
It doesn't matter.
High school, I know in pros you cannot be the first person to touch the football if you've gone out of bounds. You can't do it in college either. I would assume it's a high school rule, but the rule's not always the same in all three levels, and you don't see it very often. And I know like on a punt, if the guy's forced out of bounds, he has to immediately come back in, or he gets penalized for going out of bounds. So I know there's rules. It's kind of like you're starting to get pretty deep in the rule book, but that was definitely not a touchdown in my opinion. But it is what it is.
I was about to say, Tom, you can reach as far back in that rule book as you want to. This is not a real play.
And your Burns guy's pointing over. Hey, ref, he was out of bounds.
So looking at the replay, the receiver is so far out of bounds. He's on the out of bounds. You got a 3-foot barrier there. And then he comes back in bounds and catches it. We still don't even know if his foot was in bounds when he called it, technically, if he've even established himself. Then he called it. Both referees just looked at each other. The Burns DB's like, he's out of bounds, y'all.
Yeah,
and then
watch
he
him
walks
point.
in the
Watch
end
him
zone
point.
12 yards.
He's over yonder.
And the referees look at each other. I guess we got a touchdown, boys. That was awful. That was awful.
I thought it was too. I mean, and at that point, it gave him a little momentum, And I will say this: honorable mention to Anthony Smith, number 1 for Bessemer City, over 100 yards tonight, and kept him out of the end zone. But still, now they're talking about the number of carries he had, and I didn't have a chance to count those up, Kevin. I did count up the yards. I can look back in my notes. I got about 6-7 pages of notes to look back through to see how many carries he had. But he's a very effective runner. He gashed us for a number of 10-plus yard runs. Burns bottled him up sometimes, but I tell you what, I was really impressed. He's a really good player, Kevin.
Yeah, he's been putting up some good numbers for the Yellow Jackets. You've seen they beat Highland Tech 74-0 last week. As far as seeing these other teams, you've seen Cherville. You see Cherville in a couple of weeks. How do they stack up maybe against some of these other teams? You think?
I think 1A they're going to be fine. I was telling their guys in the booth. I believe it was Danny McDowell was up there in the booth and a couple others, and I had good conversation with them. Just saying, look, it's hard to step up and play the bigger school. You're just a little bit outmanned, but against the 1As, I think they're going to be just fine.
Okay. Yeah.
The running game's pretty good. Now Chastain, the quarterback. Now you can tell he's young.
He's a 10th,
and he could throw. He threw a couple of nice balls, but you can tell he's young. He's not real big. He's not really a threat to run the ball, And I think that might give him another option maybe in another year, like Mooney's doing for Burns now. And Mooney's running the ball a lot more often now. So I think that once that develops for them, they may be a year away from that. But against 1A schools, as far as, I think they got pretty good size. They they have a good running game. Got some pretty good guys on defense. I thought that now pass defense, they couldn't really stay with our guys deep. And they finally had to adjust. They went to 3 deep because we burned them twice on one-on-ones on the outside. So, there's a few things that have to button down, but against 1A opponents, I think they're going to be fine.
Oh, yeah. I think the problem with them trying to cover Cleveland County receivers is different than what they
and they couldn't. You have to go back and look at it, Will. It seemed like they put the outside corner on the island, and you can't do that against Kamari Surratt. You just can't. You just can't do it.
Hey,
and then the next series, it was Graham Warlick, and he did the same thing. And then they finally went to 3 deep. And I was like, he must not have any, because they were wide open. Wide open. Nobody near them. So I was like, well, you got to give that guy a little help over the top,
Tom, we figured out why that receiver was confused. He was out of bounds. If you look down the sideline, it's crooked.
If you look down the sideline, what?
The lines are crooked on the sideline.
The sideline is crooked, man.
That has nothing to do with it. He was way out of bounds. He was over there. He was over there with the towel boy. He was way out of bounds. Came back. And like I said, I've got my buddy Terry Henthorne. I'm going to call him tomorrow and get clarification or text him.
I don't think you need that. I think you got the
No,
right.
what I'm saying is the rule consists in all three levels. If you go out of bounds, can you be the first one to touch the ball in high school football?
Well,
now, I'm
maybe he
not
went to the
saying
concession stand,
was
Tom.
he still out of bounds when he caught it. I'm saying besides that, say he was reestablished in play, could he be the first one if he immediately returned? Could he be the first one to touch the ball? You can't in pros, you can't in college. I'd assume no in high school as well. But I'm honestly, I'll have to look it up or ask Terry. I'm not sure.
Ain't the rule, though, you have to immediately return back to the playing field, not run 10 yards down the field.
He went and got a hot dog at the concession
Yeah, he
stand.
went to-
I'm going to put it this way.
But Will, what I'm saying is what you're saying is that's like you got a gunner on a punt, and he runs out, I guess he's forced out of bounds. He has to immediately return or he can't participate. On this particular play, even like if in college and pros, if you go out of bounds, you can come back in. You just can't be the first to touch the ball. Like you could come in there and block, or you could come back in there and get a lateral, but you could not be the first one to touch the football. So I'm saying, say he does reestablish himself, can he be the first one to touch the football? I'm thinking no, but now that I've seen that play, I need the ref. I got Jaron Glenn too, is another one of my buddies. I'm gonna ask one of my football ref buddies and figure it out.
Well, I'll tell you this: you're wasting a lot of time. We are wasting a lot of time talking about whether there's a rule. The kid ran 5 yards out of bounds, came back in bounds, caught the ball. The two referees look at each other like, I don't know what happened. Well, let's just let this go. Then the kid walked in from 10 yards. It was a god-awful play all around, and I'll be the one to say it, and I'm back to rail on a little bit more time. And I'm glad you gave us a call, and I appreciate you guys. We're going to see you in the morning because we got Rob Root calling here in just a minute.
Oh. Okay. All right. I'll see you in the morning.
All right, guys. KTC Broadcasting. And Dennis, you're right. We're sitting here joking about it, but I'm not going to joke about it for a second. I want to talk about the things at Bessemer City tonight. It was a complete joke between the referees, the way we were set up over there at the stadium. It was just ridiculous. The yards aren't painted right, and I'm going to go through it for just a few minutes on how you need to get things fixed over there. Because I'm tired of people coming to me and be like, look at Bessemer. Y'all can't do nothing. Y'all can't even paint your lines straight. Look at the lines right here. This is just from 10 yards away. Crooked. And Steve said they've been crooked for years just now. I'm going to tell you, I don't know when they paint them, but if they just paint them there, that's awful. Whoever did the paint job should be fired at Bessemer, flat out. I'm tired of it. I don't want to listen to it anymore. And here's why I'm fired up about it. You know, let me pull up some shots. Tom and them had to stand behind people in the press box tonight who weren't doing anything. They were just watching the game, sitting on bar stools. Our equipment is up against the back wall. We couldn't use our sideline camera. We couldn't use our internet because of it. We couldn't even use a scoreboard camera because of it. We were set in a terrible place. You set radio people up against the window, up front. If you have dignitaries or famous people or whatever you call them, sit them in the back. Make them buy a ticket. These are called press boxes. Q Tucker, everybody else in the state. These are press boxes, working press boxes. You made us fill out background information, do background tests. We had to pay for it to be able to even get in the building. And then you let person after person after person in these press boxes without background passes, and then they're sitting in front of us at the tables doing nothing but picking their nose and having snacks and eating candy and cookies and cakes. This isn't just Bessemer. This is a lot of places. So if you guys are running your press boxes, it's a working press box. Fix it and get it right. I'm just telling you that. We're tired of it. We are so tired of it being treated like this. When we come to the fields, we're promoting your kids, we're promoting your stadiums. Stop it, people. Do it right. Do it the right way. There should be good ways to do everything. And when we contact you, contact us back. I want that too. Because I contacted 2 people at Bessemer this week and did not get calls back, did not get emails back, and it would take one phone call to fix everything tonight. And I ain't even talking about the sideline set. Every highlight on Burns here, we can pull up. I can show you a crooked sideline. It's not. It's just every single thing over there was just, including that ref and that call was garbage tonight. And I'm going to be the one to say it, because if you don't say it and you don't stand up for yourself, nobody else will do it for you. So look at this crooked line.
Well, all you got to do is put down a string and follow the string, Kevin. It's
look
like
at that.
they freestyle it.
Look at that. Come on, man. Not 3 feet of that line is straight. Get it right, guys. And we bet, and I'm just saying, that's what I'm just upset about Tom and them having to, and Tom would never say it, and he would never come out and say it. But where they had to sit tonight and we couldn't hook up half of our equipment, it would have taken one phone call and get the people out of the press box that aren't working press if we've got to jump through every hoop in the world. And we also paid $150 to do the game, so we paid to have that, to have no seats. So that's my suggestion. Get it right. Now, with that said, we're going to take a quick break. We come right back and talk to Robbie Root and the Crest Chargers and South Point Red Raiders. KTCBroadcasting.com.
All right, with us today, we've got Stephen Churka from CSI Mechanical in Shelby.
Thank you, Calvin. Give us a call today to take advantage of our fall train promotions from now going through November the 15th. Qualify up to $1,200 in rebates. Call us today to schedule your free estimate. 704-600-6267. Also, you can come by our locations for your Crest 50/50 raffle tickets. That's 410 South Post Road in Shelby, North Carolina.
It's hard to stop a train.
Oliver's Hardware and Garden Center is not just a hardware store, but a real general store carrying items like feed and seed, hay, pine needles, and straw. Also case knives, Grove Line, belts, Ashe County cheese, Guernsey milk, Hunter's liver mush, and many more unique items not found in your typical hardware store. They've got it all at Oliver's Hardware, 3712 Fallston Road, between Fallston and Shelby, or online at olivershardware.com. Oliver's Hardware proudly supports the Burns football team and wishes them good luck for a great season.
Jumpin' Jed's in downtown Fallston is getting ready for the holidays. But first, come in now for some great fall decorating ideas. And coming Saturday, October 14th, it's Hay Day at Jumpin' Jed's in Fallston. There will be hot apple cider and apple butter. Local artisans will be there. Also a fall photo op and special sales throughout the store and a Christmas sneak preview. And mark your calendar for the 4th annual Fallston Small Town Christmas, Saturday, November 18th. That's Jumpin' Jed's in the heart of downtown Fallston. Open 10 to 6 Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturday. Like them on Facebook too. It's the all-new Nissan of Shelby, where they do the right thing. First time, every time. Nissan of Shelby now has new management, plus a big new inventory with new prices, giving you a whole new customer experience. Check their amazing lineup, Nissan Rogues and Muranos, and trucks like the Nissan Frontier and Titan, plus a wide range of pre-owned vehicles with special rates and pricing. Come to the all-new Nissan of Shelby, 631 South Post Road, right off Highway 74 East in Shelby. Online at nissanofshelby.com.
Drivers, start your engines!
Start your engine of savings at Campers Inn in Kings Mountain. Race on in now during the Campers Inn 500. Over 500 units have been discounted for year-end savings. It's the best time of the year to buy. Don't make a pit stop elsewhere. Head to the finish line of savings at Campers Inn in Kings Mountain during the Campers Inn 500. Campers Inn, 615 South Broadway off Highway 161 South at I-85 in Kings Mountain. Online at campersin_kingsmountain.com. Like them on Facebook too.
Is your car's windshield cracking you up? If so, you need to see the windshield doctor. That's Carolina Auto Glass at 408 South Post Road in Shelby. Carolina Auto Glass can handle all of your insurance claims. Shop local, deal with Carolina Auto Glass. They do free estimates on site. Just call 704-480-1885 for Carolina Auto Glass. Located at 408 South Post Road in Shelby. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, where you get safety and satisfaction. Online at carolinaAutoglass.net and see their page at whatsupshopper.com. Full Throttle Power Sports in Law is proud to announce the addition of Brian Lane to their sales staff. And Brian wants to take this time to invite his friends and former customers of Al Lane Motorsports in Lincoln to come see him at Full Throttle Power Sports in Law, featuring brand names like CF Moto, Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Polaris, and more. See Brian Lane at Full Throttle Power Sports, 101 Indian Walk of I-85 in Law. Online at ncfullthrottle.com.
And welcome to the CSI Mechanical postgame show with Kevin and the gang, or shall I say the ministry. The ministry is complete. We have everybody here today. All of them.
What's up? Let's do some scores. Andre's getting almost all the scores. Some of these are kind of hard to find tonight for some reason. Is Rob on the line?
Yes, he is.
All right, Robbie. South Point Crest tonight had a big barn burner. 61-49. Robbie, here's my question for you before it starts. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are all
the defenders' Matador capes on fire right now?
Well, I tell you guys, it was, the beginning of the game, South Point hit the ground running, doing exactly what they did. Much better job in the second half for the Crest defense, held them to 7 points in the third quarter, 7 points in the fourth quarter. But it was tough to start. I mean, the Red Raiders came out and ran that red ball offense. Patrick Flee doing his thing, quarterback kid, just a sophomore. He's going to be a special one. At South Point, Chance Ford ran the fullback position. That was the bulk of their offense tonight, and it was tough. And I tell you, there was a lot of concerned folks in that press box when that score was sitting at 35-14.
Oh yeah,
and you didn't know exactly where this thing was going to end.
Well, Robbie, I was not surprised that South Point opened the game with a 6-minute drive and scored. I understand that's their modus operandi. Creston came back in about 30 seconds and tied it. But then South Point was like it zip, 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 and continued to just march down the field and run the score up. And that's what I couldn't understand was, were there no adjustments? Was Crest just missing the runners? Was there no tackling? What was going on during that period of time?
Yeah, the biggest thing Crest had was I think locating the pitch man, especially early in that game, was when they started struggling on defense. Once they started figuring that part out, I think okay to start with the fullback and the quarterback again. Blee, they run that little thing where he either hands it to the fullback or pulls it from the fullback, and it just follows the fullback into the line. And that's, I tell you, that's a tough play to defend. But Crest was able to settle down. Here's the amazing thing to me, guys. We talk about those long drives. If South Point had them in this game, Crest still put 61 points on the board.
Yeah.
Even with, even we talk about opening with a 6-minute drive and another 4 or 5 minute drive and another 4 or 5 minute drive.
Time
and Crest still put 61 on the board. This offense is something to watch.
Yeah. Well,
Crest offense is electrifying. Hands down, speed on the offensive side of the ball is incredible. They can start. They can score. 10. They don't need but 10 seconds to score. To be honest, if you give them a chance to get free, they need 10 seconds to score. The problem I seen tonight, with the Crest game, it's not the offense. The defense has definitely got to get some things fixed. We talked earlier when the game was talking. Crest needed 2 stops to go up to. That would break, South Point's back. Then they get down 35-14.
Yeah.
They needed 3 stops to win the game. They had got exactly 3 stops and won. That's how they end up winning the game. So and guys, the one thing we talk about with this offense too, I know we all talk about this high-powered passing attack that Crest runs, and again tonight Husky throws for over 400, so they do get it done through the air. But you look at when Crest come out after halftime and they wanted to run the football. Aiden Carson had 3 rushing touchdowns tonight for the Chargers. Quayshawn Tate had 3 rushing touchdowns tonight for the Chargers. So Crest came out and had a concerted effort after halftime. They took the football, and props to the Crest offensive line. Absolutely. They started manhandling South Point up front and just ran the football down South Point's throat. They took a page out of the Red Raider offense and said, hey, we're going to run right at you, and we dare you to stop us.
Well, Rob, Husky killed them in the end, not by passing, but by running the ball in that last 5 minutes. He ran the ball, got the first downs, moved the balls down the field to where they scored that extra points that they got to make it 60-61 points with the extra field goal and everything. That was, I thought, the key. They finally took that surge of what they could have been doing early, but they just wore South Point down. Finally, they were able to manhandle them and do what they should have probably done early in the game, but South Point was too determined and too strong at that point.
And I tell you guys, the scary thing to me, if you're a playoff team, I mean, let's be honest, Kings Mountain's the favorite next week against South. I think it's going to be a great game. I think Kings Mountain can get the win.
you're going to look at a South Point team. It's going to be a pretty low seed compared to what they usually are.
Oh, yeah.
I start circling a team like a Ledford, a West Henderson, a team like that that's sitting there undefeated right now. They feel pretty good about themselves going into the playoffs, and they draw a team like South Point in that first round. That becomes a scary thought. So I think there's still going to be a team to watch for in the playoffs. But, guys, one more shout-out to Natavius Husky. I think his passing numbers tonight took him over 6,000 yards.
Yeah.
Career passer, so he joins that group that we know Mooney joined earlier in the year. So congratulations to him. Congratulations once again to Cleveland County, another big night, and hopefully we're going to see some teams going deep. We know the Chargers travel to North Gaston next Friday. Hey, the best North Gaston team they've had in a while. So Cresta go in there ready to play and ready to take on North Gaston, and we'll see if the Chargers keep the undefeated season going.
My final question to you, Rob.
Yeah.
We have the offense. We've got an A-plus offense. In a championship run, you need to play better defense. Can this defense improve before the playoffs? Are we limited? Have we got to play what we got, or can they get better?
But Dennis, my thing with, I know we all talk, everybody's concerned about this Crest defense, and I get it because I look at the points. But I played Burns, high-powered offense football team. I mean, they're going to score points against anybody. You played Gaffney, the other team, they're going to score points against anybody. You played Shelby, they're going to score points against anybody. And this South Point team, you see this Redbone once a year, they're going to score points against anybody. So I think, of course, the opportunity is there to get better. But they've seen some great offenses so far this season, too. So I don't think this defense will be surprised by anything they see. It's just a matter of making sure you make the plays and the tackles when you need to. That's going to be the key thing for this defense. But I'm going to tell you what, when you talk about a team, how you put pressure on teams, you always talk about doing it defensively.
Offensively,
this Crest team puts you they put such pressure on you offensively that once they get a lead, it kind of starts pulling you away from what you want to do. I think we saw it in the second half of this game against South Point. Crest, once they got that lead, and you start feeling that, Crest Fish get the ball back. We've got to do something. Crest Fish get the ball back. We've got to do something. It pulls you out of what maybe that original game plan was, and hopefully, if your Crest, forces you into mistakes that you don't want to make.
Well, Rob, this is my final comment on the defense. I compare the Crest situation to the Atlanta Braves. You get in the 8th, 9th, 10th inning, you better watch out because the Atlanta Braves, no matter how far they're down, they seem to come back and win, and they put those W's in the column. And the Crest Chargers are like that, like they showed tonight. Okay, you gave up 49 points, but then we turn around and get 61.
Dennis, how many times, and I'll leave you with this, how many times do you see a South Point team get up 21 on somebody, and that team's able to come back because of what South Point does offensively?
Yeah.
Crest was able to do that tonight. To me, it's going to take one heck of an effort to keep this offense down. I know they still have Kings Mountain left, who I'm like a coach. I heard him call in. I love Kings Mountain's defense. I think they're really good. That's going to be maybe the immovable object versus the stone or whatever the saying is. It's going to be a very intense matchup between that Kings Mountain defense and this Crest offense.
But we know where all this is headed, Robbie. Final game of the season. Kings
Absolutely.
Mountain.
Absolutely. Kings Mountain's got one, big one in front of them. Crest still has Hunter Husk on the schedule. I know the Huskies are pretty good, but I think we are heading towards that matchup. But, guys, let me get off here and let you go. Enjoy the show, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Robbie.
Thank you, Robbie.
All right, see you. Bye-bye.
So, Chip, what I saw tonight, what I was watching out, and I'll touch on it just a little bit. Crest's defense gave up 35 unanswered. Well, they're not unanswered, but 35 points in the first quarter.
South Point's first 5 scores were touchdowns.
Yeah. So their first 5 possessions.
First 5 possessions, yeah, thank you.
They scored 5 touchdowns. My thing is, Crest's score was 49-61. They gave up 35 in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You come back again. You need stops to win this ball game. They got the stops. They can survive a game. But if you have another team that is high powered on offense, as Crest is, who's I think, me personally thinking the shootout is going to be won with who's got the best offense then.
And I don't. This is to Dennis's question that he had to Robbie too. I look at what South Point put on the board, and yes, I mean credit to them, good game, but about 21 of those points from the end of the first to the beginning of the second is about the worst stretch of football Crest has played this year in terms of turnovers, in terms of penalties. I mean, they had 12 penalties, I think, for the game, and I want to say at least half of them came in that. I jokingly, I made a joke about it, but when I got to the field and got mic'd up and wired up and everything, I spent the first 30 minutes of my time on the sidelines on the Crest side of the field because Crest didn't move either turnovers, short punts. They lost the field position game for a good stretch of the beginning of the second quarter. So yes, South Point scored those points obviously, but 3 of these scores were off of I would say were off of short fields. So that I don't think you will see that. I don't think it would be very surprising to me if you saw that bad of turn of events happen consistently in that amount of time to Crest.
And this defense is not going to play another offense that's going to be that assignment oriented.
The one thing
unless they get Charlotte Catholic.
Yeah, unless they get Charlotte Catholic.
The one thing that worries me, and I think what we saw in the second half is encouraging tonight for Crest. We all talk about the high-powered offense. We all talk about the air raid show, and yes, it's impressive. And how fast they go is just it's hard to put into words. I was scared once they get to the playoffs, they could almost be too fast for their defense. That you're getting you're getting the tempo to where their defense isn't getting enough time to rest. Right. We saw what happened at the beginning of the second quarter when they had to stay on the field for most of the beginning of the second quarter.
Yeah, like a South Point or Charlotte Catholic, not to break in.
No, please go ahead, Coach. You're the expert. I'm not.
You got a 12-play drive, 80-yard drive. Okay, then you kick the ball off to the other team. They score in 2 plays. You got to turn around and put your defense right back on the field.
That's exactly right.
And sooner or later, you can take it a toll. That's how a kid's a little focused, too, and they'll forget their assignments because, they're tired. Mm-hmm. You do that a couple of times, and one of these teams will get up on you real good. And when South Point got up on Crest 35-14, I was beginning to wonder, Crest come back, because I figured if South Point got the ball back again and start Bless going 4, Bless going 5, and then the fullback going 5, and wait to 2 seconds to snap the ball, Chris could be in trouble. But like you say, one play, Green and caught it at the 1-yard line. Next play, the man in the end zone for the touchdown.
Yep.
Well, I'll mention this too, Chip. Back when Crest played Charlotte Catholic at Charlotte Catholic in the playoffs the first time, Scott Neisler and I were up on the press box, and we about got thrown off by the Catholic coaches.
Probably,
because the deal was, I turned to Scott in the third quarter. Crest was up 2 touchdowns on Catholic. And I just said to Scott, tick-tock, tick-tock. Catholic is not built to come back. They're methodical.
With us today, we've got Steve.
After play down the field. That's what you got to avoid. It like a South Point offense, it's good, but it's not necessarily built to be quick scoring, and Crest is.
Well, that's just how you got to play it. Be like Tommy, you got to coach for Oklahoma basketball. You got that scoreman, baby. You're going at that scoreman to win. That's what Crest coach mentality is.
Thank you very much. We'll wrap up and do this. Kevin has heard his fill of the Crest Chargers this evening. So real quick, we'll run down the scoreboard here one final time as we wrap up. Burns Bulldogs defeat Bessemer 42-7 with crooked lines and everything. Crest defeats South Point 61-49. Kings Mountain defeats Forest View 49-7. Lincolnton over Bandy's in a high-scoring affair 57-36. East Rutherford 58, Patton 6. Shelby blanks Highland Tech 72-0. Murphy beats out a close game against Hayesville 21-14. West Henderson 28, Smoky Mountain 13. The Community School of Davidson 43, Carver 20. Mountain Island Raptors 36, Winston-Salem Prep 12. Bishop McGinnis defeats Corvian Community 34-27. Pine Lake squeaks out a win against Christ the King 38-33. Chase Trojans defeat Hendersonville 40-19. Polk County defeats RS Central 43-12. Maiden defeats West Caldwell 51-7. Newton Conover 43, East Burke 25, Bunker Hill 21, West Lincoln 15, East Gaston 56 defeats the Thomas Jefferson Griffins 56-3. Pisgah Bears blank Franklin 35-0. Forbush 33. The Bucking Elks 20. Starmount 56. North Stokes 10. Mount Airy shuts out East Wilkes 42-0. Swain shuts out Andrews 20-0. Robbinsville almost shuts out Cherokee 46-6. East Lincoln 24, West Iredell 17. North Lincoln 53, North Iredell, Battle of the Norths. North Lincoln defeats North Iredell 53-14. Hunter Huss 47, Kramer 23. The Hickory Red Tornadoes defeat St. Stephen's 50-7. Statesville 38, Fred T. Ford 15. Ashbrook wins over North Gaston 21-13. T.C. Robertson, not Roberson, defeats Inca 58-13. A.C. Reynolds 28, Asheville 14. McDowell wins a close one against North Buncombe 38-36. North Henderson defeats Tuscola 42-32. Alexander Central 41, Ashe County 35, and High Brighton squeaks out a win against Freedom 35-33.
All right, guys, so we got next week on the scoreboard, we're on the broadcast for KTC Broadcasting. We've got Thomas Jefferson at Burns, Kings Mountain at South Point on WOHS, Cherryville at Highland Tech on WCSL, and Brevard at Chase on Waggy. And then we've got I just lost my spot. How about West Lincoln and Newton Conover on the Lincoln County Game of the Week next week. I want to thank everybody for listening, watching tonight. Will Boyk is in the house. Will, thanks, and you and Chip doing a good job up at Crest tonight covering that game. You guys had Dennis all over the place. He was worried. He was happy. He was looking at me. Hey, Will. At one point, he was looking up recipes for crow. He asked Zach what kind of sauce goes on fried crow.
Put my headphones back on.
Not ever. You no need for that recipe.
I said, Dennis, you were asking about the recipe for crow earlier.
Crow, yeah. You just fricassee that thing and feed it to South Point.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Remember, it's tomorrow morning. Shock Jocks Live Sports Talk. We do professional sports, college sports, and more. We'll go over some of the scores.
One good thing, Dennis, you better be glad the game wasn't in South Point because South Point would have won because you already down 14.
Right.
You already down 14 when you get off the bus. So that means they would have lost by. So that means Chris would have lost by 3.
Steve DeGree and the Shelby Golden Lions. Thanks for stopping in, everybody. JP, Calvin Hastings, and everybody else. KDCBroadcasting.com.
We out.
We out.